right, we are going to tie a extended body mayfly today. It's going to be kind of like a March brown color. You could almost even say it might be a little bit of maybe even a Hendrickson, a dark Hendrickson. We'll pull one in the vise real quick, one that's not real bad. I don't tie these a lot, and I don't have a lot of these hooks, so first couple tries were a little rough. This one's really good. Throw that in there real quick. I think we'll just get this camera adjusted before we get started on all the tying. Cool. Seems like we got good light for that right there. Completely in the frame. All right, we're gonna go with that. But yeah, so just checking this out. We've got some CDC or CDL back here. We've got turkey tail fibers. My ribbing is just 140 denier black thread. That's going to be your extended body. Got some super fine dubbing from Falling Mill. I have this extended body hook that it's all on, which I don't know where or who makes that hook. And the one we're going to be making is going to be the last one I have in this size. So we're going to have to find out where else we can get those because they're fun to make. I do have a larger size that I'm going to make into um, some like drakes and maybe some ISOs and some other type, you know, larger mayflies as well. I believe this was supposedly a size 12, but I don't think that's accurate. I think it's more like a 14 or something like that. Could potentially be a 12, but it's a really custom hook kind of thing. Um, so we'll drop that one out and we'll get this fly started. Find where I put that hook down. All right, so starting this fly, we're actually going to, I didn't even get in there. We're going to grab it on the eye. Fix up this camera a little bit. That'll work. All right, so to start this fly off, like I said, we're going to do it with the eye in there first. I'm going to come in here, just start a little bit of thread towards the end of that extended body, and we're just going to cover that whole shank up with thread. I like to get way inside of here, and then I come around the point of the hook, and I can actually close that off, which closes that gap between there. Come back around the back. And then we're gonna go back towards the end of that tail, cut off that extra. So had everything out when I set this up, and I already lost half the stuff. First material we're going to use for the tail, some Coke de Leon, kind of a ginger. This looks super good on just about all flies, but I really like this for like a brown colored mayfly. I like to kind of make things monochrome a little bit because I kind of like to fish silhouette more than like super hyper realistic pattern. So I don't know. I got maybe 10 of those fibers, and I've got them, lined up in my finger, but they're going the wrong way. So a good way to do that is just pinch it directly against your other finger, spin it around, just never move those tips. That was that was a pretty good run of it, but you can see this thread is opening up here as well a little bit. So we're gonna give that a clockwise spin. I think if you're right-handed, it's counterclockwise. I'm left-handed. So you want to get them a little bit longer than that. See them about like maybe a 16th of an inch away from the end. Because I want to really like get some good wraps, grabbing it all before I get towards the end. I might even make those a little bit longer. I might even take that all apart. If you don't let go of everything, you can take some stuff apart. Yeah, I didn't take any pressure off my fingers there. One tight one. I've got like a wonky fiber here. There we go. A little bit longer. That's what I was looking for. I'm just going to let those go because they're just about the right length. It's going to help us build a little bit of taper here using some pretty thin 6/0 thread. We'll use that to build up some taper. All right, just about back to the end again. Next thing we're going to do is take a couple inches of, where is it? 140 denier. Just really thick thread in comparison to that 6/0 stuff there. Cheap, thin stuff. Ooh, I knew this was going to be a bad thing with this tripod. I'm not shooting this video a bajillion times, so trying a new angle. We'll see how this goes. Looks like everything's in the frame. So you can still kind of hold it in your like your normal hand and everything. It's just you're going to be tying the majority of this material out the front opposed to the back kind of thing. Get a couple good wraps. Just scoot that tag out of the way. Get a couple wraps down there. Work your way towards the front. Got plenty of thread. You can either now pull the rest of that through there, will do, or you can just, you can just cut this off too. So you do want to make sure that you're bringing that all the way back right to the end. And then another thing you can do if you have a rotary vise is just advance back to where you want to be with the rotary. All right. Next material is going to be turkey tail feathers. We're looking for pretty long. Because I like to have a lot to hang on to, and I will be building up some bulk with these. That's maybe, I don't know, 8 fibers, 8 to 10 fibers there. Nip them off on the end. And it seems like a lot, but really not that bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this right to my side of the hook. give that thread a spin so it'll you know, fold backwards instead of being loose forward. And we're gonna get a good wrap in there. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Go around and clean some of that up a little bit. I'm gonna cut a little bit of that off. Get out of my way while I'm wrapping. So this turkey as well is just gonna go straight to the back. The same fashion as the rib. Probably the most tedious bit of this fly, but such a cool fly. I like tying it. I've only had like I think I got like a 25 pack of this in another size, so I actually haven't tied that many of them, but they're super fun. All right, so we've kind of made our way with the rest of the tail materials. We're going to start wrapping this forward. A nice flat one on the back. I really hope you have a rotary vise because it really makes this achievable. And you got to kind of coax it to stay together. We're going to slow down a bit even and start building up a little bit of a taper with it. It would naturally get bigger a little bit, but like really not that much. So you can kind of go over. See how I'm using my finger to help massage that thread around the hook point. Let me get close to that. All right, I'm checking how much I have here. If you're a smarter, not harder guy, um, you'll use hackle pliers for this. Oh no. We're gonna have to chase these ones back up to the top here. Unbelievable. Rookie stuff. I'm gonna post this on the internet. Whatever. No big deal. All right. One, two. All right, we got it. Man, it still seems loose too. A couple more in there. Yeah, this is like the hardest bit of this fly for me. I don't know if anyone else ties these, if you got a better method. I'm sure there's some videos online. That's where we're at so far. We are going to go the opposite direction with our rib. I'm really struggle busting this fly together tonight. I'm not allowed to say that on the internet. I don't know. There we go. That's the rib. And although it's not particularly pretty, actually, it doesn't look that bad on camera. Good grief, if I kick this thing again, I swear to God. All right. Since starting to do this, I've tried every iteration. I've tried all these different little microphones, cheapos, and filming on the phone opposed to a nicer camera because I don't have the technologies. But we're working on it. Gonna have to go with the flow here for a bit. That kind of spread out. Found a beer in the fridge, so we're gonna have some of that. So basically, that's the extended bit of this fly. Once you get to this point, you're all set with it being in there like that. We're gonna turn it around, pop it in there. We're gonna take a wrap around the back and over the top to change our thread direction. And that is how we get our thread where we want it. Going the right way. We've changed the direction of the fly there. All right, next material is going to be some poly post. This is in like a gray color. The color of this light here, and it's kind of hard to tell the colors of things here. It's a little bit, camera quality is low. Let's just say that. Kind of a nicer light, actually. We're going to use that. So we're going to wrap this. Good grief. Wrap this under the thread. Pop it up onto the top here. Kind of messed around with it where you're going to locate it on this first wrap. I want to make sure I save myself some room by the eye. Put this like right on top of that transition. It's going to be really hard to show you guys with the lighting. See if we can do it without getting in the way. So we're going to make a pair of posts here. The wrap super light if I'm going to keep my hand out of the light so everyone can see it. Right now that that's got some body to it. Base on the bottom here a little bit. And wraps right in front, make sure it's nice and sturdy. I'm gonna make it just a little bit taller. Cool. There's our post. It looks a little wonky, but it'll fish, that's for sure. All right, so luckily for this, I chose some hackles beforehand. Now we're gonna just tie it in right here. And I want those hackle barbs to start. I just go straight up the shank after that first one. I want it to basically the barbs to start as soon as I bend it. That's what I'm going for anyway. So as soon as I start wrapping that around the, the post there, then it'll be barbs immediately. We're also going to add this grizzly color right here. Back some of these fibers. Expose that stem. that down. We can do the same thing with this. All right, we got 2 wraps on that one. Same deal. Tie it up to the top of that post. Go back and down again. All right, so we're getting real close here. Next step, we've got this tactical dry fly dubbing and rusty spinner by Fulling Mill. So it's wicked good for rusty spinners. I do all my rusty spinners now with this. But it's just like it's more brown than orange, I think. I think it looks good on a multitude of different. Almost has a bit of pink or orange, even rusty orange, pinkish brown. But either way, good for a bunch of different types of mayflies, or if you're just like a general, just high general colors and silhouettes and stuff. It's great for that too. Believe it or not, most mayflies just look brown to fish. you know, man, hitting that thing all night, hitting the table with my knee and the camera, driving me to drink. Cool. All right, we're gonna pull one of these down at a time. Might put a little bit more dumbing in the back here. I've been looking a little sparse. Since we're gonna put this on the internet, let's just make it look kind of better. If you don't like it, I'll kick the camera again. Yeah, that was it right there. Just a little bit more on the back. All right, there we go. Everything's still in frame. Okay, I'm gonna start with this grizzly hackle here. Get probably like 3 good wraps of that if we can. Nice. That one cut off. There's that first bit. I'll get this ginger one through there. Get a wrap on top and try to cut through in between the other layers. About the same thing. About 3 wraps of that is a ton. That is that. I think we'll try to get this nipped before we whip finish. Sure there's no like crazy strays in there. There's a couple. A few of them is fine. It doesn't focus. Freaking out. Hopefully the whole video wasn't like that. I haven't been looking at it too much. All right. So now that we've got all that done, an easy way, well, an easier way for a lot of people to do this part is to kind of point it up. Looks like you're still tying around like an eye basically instead of like doing it horizontal. Um, I do it horizontal, but do it vertical like this. Let's see how easy that is. You gotta make sure you duck on each side and you're making it over the eye of that hook and then ducking all those fibers on your sides. And that was about 3 whips on that. We'll pull that in, snug it. Oops. We're gonna get another couple in there if we can, just to really lock this thing home. Underneath, over the eye, underneath all the fibers, over the eye. That was good. We got at least 2 there. Snug it in. Perfect. Find our scissors. Cut that down. So we'll get this straightened back out for you guys. And that's basically it. Last thing I like to do before I cut this post down to size is if you've got scissors that can clamp dead in the middle here, see how if I close them, they clamp shut. I grab all that material on the post and then I pull up and push down on the scissors. So sandwich that parachute and just mush it all down. And I feel like that kind of just solidifies that there. Now we're gonna twist those a little bit, cut it a little bit of an angle, and that is that. Extended body mayfly. It's gonna be like my March Brown type dry fly. Hanging a merger or a small nymph off the back of it. It floats forever, especially like a silicone floating. The hackles are unbelievably strong. Fibers are all pretty floaty. You can really pinch this tail, get that to spread out really nice. And the body just sits directly in the water, and the silhouette of it is basically perfect. So you can mess around with different colors and different sizes. Like I said, I've got a little bit bigger ones as well, so maybe we'll do some like bigger like ISOs or some type of Drake or something like that. Hex, um, Hexagenia. That's all we got for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment and give us some ideas for what you want to see for the upcoming fly tying videos. And we will catch you guys later. Thank you.